You know what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Doctor Who Reviews, and welcome to the start of a brand new year, which is exactly the same as the old year.
Hey.
Yay.
But we are talking about the New Year's special, Revolution of the Daleks. And oh boy, this was quite the episode. For several reasons. Some of it not entirely the episode's fault, but we'll get to that in a moment. Firstly, introduce my two usual co-hosts. To my virtual left. It's not a true revolution for him, unless guillotines are involved, it's freezing inferno.
Do you hear the people singing a song of angry men?
I mean, you laugh, but you know I'm right.
I noticed that I didn't deny it. Happy New Year, everybody!
I joke, but a lot of crew just said in jest.
Cat, was that lame?
Maybe.
I approve.
And to my virtual right, she spins me right round, baby, right round. In fact, she spins me round so much, I'm going to be sick. It's Cat.
Yeah, that's about the usual reaction to me, so sounds right.
I'm not disappointed that we didn't get a literal revolution of the Daleks, by the way.
Really, the title is kind of like so.
Well, no.
This was less a revolution and more an attempted coup of the Daleks.
You're not thinking of it right. What happened was, Chibnall thought, I'm going to do a great thing. I'm going to restart Doctor Who in my own way while keeping track with the history. And he started to go through a revolving door. And on the other side of the revolving door were a bunch of angry fans. So he decided to do a full revolution and go straight back in.
Yeah.
Why is it called the Xbox 360? Because you do a 360 and walk away.
Because you end up exactly where you started.
Anyway, Rainiac, how's your mirror?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you.
Hey, Rainiac, how's your jammy Dodgers and your Jelly Babies?
Doctor Who DVD, but the mirror's pretty good.
Oh, you got a mirror from me, and now you can always remember. Whoop, whoop,
It's
whoop, 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 whoop.
It's better than another mirror that's been cropping up in this past week.
Well, I think we're gonna have to get to that particular
We're going to talk
mirror.
about that at the end because.
To be fair, there are a lot of things better than that mirror.
But a Doctor Who alert involving the mirror.
Say that 5 times fast. So, Revolution of the Daleks. On general, what did we think? Just in general.
Here it's good in places, bad in places.
I'm with Rainiac. Yeah, I quite liked the episode, but here's the weird thing for me. Back before I got critical with Doctor Who, like I remember watching Moffat episodes, and I felt, wow, that was an amazing episode. And then a little while later, you think about it, and you're like, wait, some of this doesn't make much sense. What was going on there? What's that? Now when I became critical, I became a total Moffat fanboy, and just, I papered over all those plot holes and whatnot, and became a conspiracy theorist. See the Silence Art Discussion podcast for more info on that. But
yeah,
watching Revolution of the Daleks took me back to that mindset, because in the moment, I quite liked it, minus the parts I really didn't like, but the more, as I thought about it and took in more critique from other people I respect who didn't quite like it as much as I did, I was forced to say, yeah, they make a good point. So I had to lower my score a little bit. Originally, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. It's like a 6.5. Maybe it's like a 5.5 now. Maybe a 5.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is why I stopped doing scores.
Oh yeah, scores are bullshit. Don't do scores, kids. But that's where I'd be if we had to do scores.
Well, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to give it a score 2 out of 10.
Well, I'd give the parts I don't like a 2 out of 10 because there are quite a few of those that are like.
Oh no, I'm giving the whole thing a 2 out of 10.
Okay, well why don't we get into why?
Gives this episode a 4 out of 10.
Why don't we get into why and how you feel about that? How shall we begin here?
Well, let's start with, as the King said, the beginning. So, this is actually a sequel of sorts to Resolution.
Oh no!
As well as the Timeless Children.
I suppose we're going to have a conversation about that now.
Unfortunately. So after the Dalek in that story got defeated by a microwave, no, seriously, it did. The burnt out shell that the mutant previously sat in is hauled away by GCHQ. But the man that's delivering it to some sort of depot is intercepted by a tea lady.
How did they know he was going to stop for tea?
Exactly.
Seriously.
That's a little too cinema sins for me. I can walk that back. I can buy it.
I can't because
I can't either.
It was a food van that wasn't there, but it knew exactly where he was going to stop.
It's like, let's think about this logically. It's GCHQ that's taking the Dalek to the depository, right? And they're like a communications company. This means that, by the way, we have no idea who this woman is working for at this point. I'm still not sure who she's working for because it's still muddied waters.
No, it is revealed who she's working for.
It's not Theresa May, right?
Well, let me get to that. But essentially, what you have is somehow these people find out that there is this weird thing being transported by this specific guy in this specific truck along this specific route, and somehow, before he's able to make it anywhere, despite the fact that it goes from nighttime where he's picking up the Dalek shell to daytime where he's picking up his tea, they managed to set up a fully functional tea shop complete with decor and actual brewed tea, managed to get the right guy and the right truck, so they didn't poison anybody else unless, like, below them in behind some trees there were a bunch of other trucks where they got the wrong person. Managed to poison this dude, and without anybody on the road, despite it being broad daylight, get him into the back of the truck, drive off, and just leave the tea stand there.
Yeah, I mean, it is extremely convenient.
It is stupidly convenient. This is how fan fiction starts out. This is the, we're stuck in this snowstorm and there's only one bed plotline.
I am sorry to bring up the fact that this is lazy writing, but this is lazy writing.
This is such lazy writing. And
when you are doing creative writing courses, they warn you against this sort of thing. They tell you that everything has to have a reason, has to have an explanation. I mean, you don't have to put the explanation in the writing necessarily. But things don't just happen because they happen. I mean,
yeah, it's like, you know what would have helped this scene out to make it so that it works? If there was someone at the location where the scout was who's, typed out a message or spoken to a comms unit and said, they have something interesting, should we send a scout to grab it? And then it cuts to the woman in the tea stand saying, I see it, it's license plate such and such, is that the right one? And then a nod, and then she greets the guy and does all that. Just something to show that there is a coordinated effort to get this
you could have easily just had him drugged at the scene where he picks the Dalek up, like someone just hands him a coffee, and then he's followed by sinister government types, and then he falls asleep or dies, and they take the Dalek.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because this episode does this a lot, where it brings in a character, and then that character is suddenly mysteriously gone for no reason whatsoever. And this dude is one of them, where he's talking to a lady we don't care about. We don't care about him. He is literally just a vehicle to get from point A to point B, just so that the Dalek shell can get into the wrong hands. That is literally all he is for.
Absolutely. And he must have been wearing a red shirt underneath his suit, because good grief. He was doomed the second he stepped onto the screen.
God.
Yeah. As soon as he said the words, "Can I stop for a tea break?" I'm like, he is going to die either by that Dalek or something else. I just know it.
And, the fucking shot of his like family on the truck. Jim is still playing on those same tropes from back his first episode, even, you know, the old 2 days to retirement trope.
That
Oh,
man had a
look,
family, damn it.
that man had a family.
And of course, he's never talked about ever again, except one throwaway line where they're like, "Oh, he got lost."
Did you remember the first Austin Powers movie? Did you ever
yeah.
see the Did you ever see the cut of the first Austin Powers movie where every time they kill a random henchman, it cuts to their family finding out, "Oh no, my husband's been killed."
Yes, they do that. They do that trick twice, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, I just want a Chibnall episode full of that. Like, just fully take the piss out of it.
Lois Child's husband is killed because he's the guy that goes no as he gets run over by the steamroller.
You know what I was going to say, except for the fact that we see a picture of them, it would have been really funny if his family turned out to be the Wi-Fi people from Revolution. Or Resolution.
No. God almighty.
It's a good thing they talked before their last night together.
It's a good thing they had a conversation.
Oh,
I'm still
God.
mad. I'm still mad about that.
I know. But,
Have a fucking
right,
conversation.
So, yeah.
Go fuck yourself, Chibnall.
From there, then we cut to a little bit of time has elapsed, and we find out exactly who that woman was working for. She was working for Jack Robertson. Boo hiss.
Now, here's the thing. We're going to talk about Jack Robertson a lot in this podcast, but
Unfortunately.
I want to say one thing. One nice thing about the episode as I was watching it. They have a line where they mention that whole toxic waste business ruined his political ambitions. So, you know, it's nice to have a confirmation that the whole business with arachnids in the UK actually had lasting consequences for him being negligent and an asshole.
You know, that's totally a retcon after all the backlash he got from it.
Well, I don't know because of other stuff we'll talk about, but like I said, it's nice that we had it. Would have been nicer if we had a line like that 2.5 years ago in the episode Arachnids in the UK, but I digress.
Again,
That's why I
all
said it sounds like a retcon.
All it needed was a TV broadcast saying, you know, Robertson disgraced.
Yeah.
Pulls out a political race. Just a 20-second news bulletin.
I don't buy it's backlash. I don't buy it's him covering his own ass from backlash because we'll get to it when we get to the end.
No, but
anyway.
I'm saying arachnids in the UK just needed a 20-second clip of a TV news broadcast saying he'd been disgraced and he was pulling out of the political race.
Yeah, much like
all it
another similar newscast that's going to happen near the end of this episode, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but you can probably tell by Frezno's reaction, it's not good.
No, it's not.
Speaking of not good, what's Jack Robertson up to in this episode?
Oh my God! So yeah, I predict a riot.
Oh, God.
I want to riot after this episode. Holy crap!
They're having a small role play, as he calls it, of a simulated riot with It doesn't state whether these are real police or just actors in costume.
Can I just say, I missed the line where they said this was a fake riot that they were just playing out.
Yeah, it was a role play. It was.
I missed that line, so I just thought this was an actual riot, which makes what happens next.
You think that
so
they
much
just
more
found an
horrifying.
actual riot and decided to stand on the bridge above them and just watch?
I don't know. Fucking.
Anyway,
It's
we
Chibnall
meet,
Doctor Who. It can be this idiotic sometimes.
we meet Jack's business partner, and by business partner I mean he totally bought his company out, Leo.
Oh, this fella.
Leo
has
is the
developed-
dumbest smart person you will ever meet.
But more on
He
that in a
is.
moment.
But there is a reading of that I'm going to give you in a minute. But
No,
So he's
no,
developed
there is
a
no
new
reading. He's just the
security-
dumbest smart person.
he's developed a new security solution, and then use it on the fake rioters, and it's a Dalek, except it isn't. It's a security drone in the shape of the burnt-out husk of the Dalek from Resolution.
Which I will say, I did like the advertising for this episode because they did it as if it was an actual commercial for the drone, where they were
Yeah.
talking about how it has a sleek design and it's the the next level technology and all that. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. This whole scene is just. Oh God. Okay. Where do we begin here? Let's take a deep breath and see where we can start with this. Okay.
I think we could start with
Daleks
just
as
everything.
the instruments of, and I don't think I'm reading too far into this. Daleks as the instruments of anti-riot police brutality.
Technically, peaceful resolution. Because it has three main things that it does. It shoots water at them. It shoots what I believe is tear gas at them, although I may be wrong and heard wrong. And then it also does loud
gas.
noises.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. It's got a water cannon where the death ray would be. It's got CS gas where the plunger would be, and it has a sonic agitator unit.
So technically, it's quote-unquote peaceful. The one thing that a Dalek would never be.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
There's a funny line actually when the Dalek uses the gas, and Leo says, "We're not actually using CS gas for this demonstration." And Robinson just says, "I think we should use CS gas."
These poor actors, by the way, the ones playing the rioters, it's like they get sprayed with a hose, and then they get their eardrums burst, and then you almost get sprayed with this gas.
Well, they knew what they were getting into before they got paid their £5.50.
I mean, like, I'm just thinking
please.
the political ramifications of this. I mean, okay, so a big thing running through this episode is that it was, like, made well before anything like politically resonant really happened with it. Like, it was made in like August 2019 or something like that.
Yeah. This was made alongside Series 12.
So this is not exactly Doctor Who's response to, the entire year that America spent with the whole riots against police brutality.
It's not a response to Black Lives Matter. It's not a response to Trump having people tear gas so he could pose outside the church with a Bible. It's
that being said,
a direct reference to any of that, but it's a very uncomfortable coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. Just a bit. And also, this plot thread doesn't really go anywhere beyond this.
Yeah, you know how Praxeus was uncomfortable because of the coronavirus was just getting started over in China.
Yeah, exactly.
Same weekend that aired. Similar thing here.
Exactly the same. Correct. Yes, but
it's not meant to be a direct comparison.
But how can you not
make a direct comparison?
Yeah, how can you not read this?
It's unfair to do that, but you do anyway.
You can't help it. It's just the world we live in. You can't see a Dalek, which is like a fascist pepper pot alien, on the side of the police fucking up rioters and not think of the police brutality stuff.
Okay, every time we mention the Daleks from here on out, I have to call them fascist pepper pots at least once, because that's amazing.
I'm not wrong, am I?
No.
No, it's amazing.
But also, this thread does not really get followed up on in the episode, because the Daleks stop being, the tools of police suppression, and they just sort of do their own thing and are like, we're going to kill everyone on Earth now.
And do they ever?
Yeah, instead the police robots announced it's being genocide. Fun!
It is. Which, on the one hand, I know El Sandifer, at least, a critic I admire, said that it was kind of unfortunate that they wasted an idea like Daleks as cops, which, in the hands of a more, shall we say, politically sensitive writer than Chris Chibnall, would have been an interesting idea, maybe.
Yeah,
see, the problem is...
kind of my problem.
But also in the hands of Chris Chibnall. I don't want Chris Chibnall to do Daleks as cops, because when Chris Chibnall did, say, Space Amazon, it didn't end well for me in my tummy, so...
See, the problem with Chibnall is that he does have this political side to him. The problem is that he only focuses on his politics and what he sees as correct.
Yeah.
And he sort of just ignores all the other sides of things.
It's weird because he's often accused of being too political, but sometimes he doesn't go far enough, and sometimes he goes way too far.
Yeah.
I don't think he goes way too far. I just think he's. I would say, yeah, like
Well,
you said, he doesn't go far enough.
Here's the thing that gets to me. Here's the thing that
Okay.
gets to me. Obviously, it's the BBC that wants us to have a Christmas or New Year's or whatever special every year, just because it's now tradition by this point.
Right.
At any time, Chibnall could have gone to them and said, hey, after the year we've had with everything that's happened around the world, I don't think this is a very appropriate episode to show at this time. Is there any chance that we can skip the New Year's episode this year? I understand the fans won't be happy, but if we put out something, just say that unfortunately we weren't able to do it this time, I'm sure that they'll understand. And we probably would have, especially if we were told the reason why.
Yeah.
Which, that sort of sensitivity is something that they could have used for another poorly aged issue that we'll get into.
Yeah.
Chris Chibnall's sensitivity.
It's one of those things where it almost feels like Chris Chibnall doesn't care about the outside world itself. He has a political message he wants to send, and he's going to send it out no matter what.
And I mean, I wouldn't object to that on itself, but the fact that his political message is so muddled is my issue.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm fine with a political message. If I agree with the political message, I'm usually like, yeah, holy shit, like Oxygen or Happiness Patrol or something. Like, those are political as fuck stories, and I can get behind them.
And
even
you've just proved confirmation bias exists by saying that, by the way. So
congratulations, Happy New Year, everybody. But, I mean, I can't think of any outright conservative Doctor Who off the top of my head.
I mean,
it is a fairly liberal show.
Plenty of criticism of conservative values in Doctor Who, but not really conservative.
Yeah, so it's not really partisan per se. It is absolutely a more left-leaning show.
The show is not entirely leftist, but certain portions of the show certainly are.
Yeah. I would say broad spectrum, 57, 58 years, it is a left-leaning show.
Left-leaning, not leftist.
Yeah.
It has been leftist on occasion.
Yeah, that is a very important distinction.
Yeah, and we're of course not saying that we wanted to swing suddenly wildly to the right. We just wanted to be more in the center of things, where it recognizes there's problems and good things on both sides of the issue.
Oh no, make it more left. I want it more left.
I want it more balanced. I want balance.
And this is why I refer to him as my virtual left.
You made the goddamn guillotine joke.
Yes, I did, and I was proud of myself for making it.
I love you too, but I'm just one weirdo.
Here's the problem. I have two major problems. Spoilers for my overall thoughts later on, but I have two major problems with this story, and I'll address the first one right now. And it's that it sets up a couple of really interesting premises in the pre-broadcast material, in the synopsis, in the opening scenes,
and then drops
and then just bins it.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Okay, the Daleks as cops, I can understand why they might have had to have been that pretty quickly, because that's an issue that requires a lot of sensitivity, an awful lot of walking over eggshells.
Yeah, you can't.
You got to talk about. You could have had so much more mileage with this.
I think I know where we're going to. So where are we going? The prison. Okay, let's start.
The asteroid prison is actually great.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
The asteroid prison is like, this is, and I'm going to back this up, so bear with me. The asteroid prison is Chris Chibnall's version of Dimensions in Time. Chris Chibnall has gone, oh shit, we need a lot of alien costumes. What the hell is in storage that hasn't, gone to mothballs?
Or museums.
It's the Power Rangers thing again, isn't it? Where they just get whatever existing costumes they've still got.
But what's interesting is this opens up so many headcanon possibilities. I tweeted this, but, You know how in Star Wars they have that cantina scene, and like in
Oh,
the
yeah.
novels and shit,
Yeah.
every goddamn one of them fuckers has an elaborate backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want that for these aliens. I want to know how the fuck a weeping angel got arrested.
So
Very
I
carefully.
didn't see all of them on the broadcast, but according to TARDIS Wiki, the species that are amongst the prisoners include a weeping angel,
Yep.
who's called Angela by the Doctor.
Sycorax.
Yeah, an Ood and a Sycorax, Bonnie and Clyde.
A Pating from
Yeah,
Saranga
now
Conundrum.
this is a problem because the last time we saw the Pating, the Doctor says it couldn't be jailed because it would just eat through the bars.
I guess the cops found a way. Hey, yeah, the cops found a
And
way.
here it is, failing to eat through the bars. But the Pating's there, are silent.
Holy shit! Okay, we got to talk about this real quick.
Wait, talk about
hey,
what?
Kat.
Talk
Hey,
about
Kat.
what? Yes.
Hey, Kat. What did you do for your new series monster podcast?
I believe I talked about the Weeping Angels.
Hey, Kat. What did I talk about on my new series monster podcast?
Well, I do believe, I may be wrong, but it may have been about a certain monster called the Silence.
Hey, what monsters both showed up in this goddamn jail scene?
Oh, that's easy. It was a Vervoid and a Dalek.
Yes. Wait, no. But we did it again. Yo.
We did it again.
We did it
We've
again.
done
Yeah. Also, can I
Who
just
would've
say,
Who would've
this
thought?
feels a lot like Chris Chibnall went into the back room and was like, okay, we have a Dalek, we just used a bunch of Cybermen, so we can't use them again. What's the most popular monsters that we have in here? Weeping Angel, Silence, an Ood,
Sycorax.
and then just throw
I
in
wouldn't
one of the
call some
ones
these
from last
popular.
season.
I mean, well known. Well, Sycorax maybe not.
The Ood, yes. The Weeping Angel, yes. But the Sycorax, that was a bit of a left field choice.
Again, it's probably just something they had left over. They're still in
Yeah.
good shape.
Yeah.
The Pating
But-
wasn't a costume. The Pating was a CGI.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I'm
But
100%
apparently, according to this
sure.
page,
I'm 100%
other
sure.
monsters present, and I didn't see these on the actual broadcast. A Skifra,
Okay.
a Gathering Coil,
A what?
the thing that electrocuted Grace.
Oh,
Oh,
the
Tim Shaw's
fuck?
little, henchman,
Tim
Gathering
Shop's little
Coil
electric eel ball. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
A Chagaska, which that is completely wrong because they don't exist.
What the fuck is it? What?
The creatures from the dreams in Can You Hear Me?
Oh.
the fuck?
How the fuck?
A Cyberman apparently was there, and
Okay.
and a Thajarian.
A Thajarian.
Yeah, from Demons.
Okay, but can we just can I the silence conspiracy theorists just marvel at the fact that the first actual like meaningful poke at that entire arc since 2013 was from Chris fucking Chibnall.
Yep.
Of all the people I expected to poke at that thread again, well, it's barely even poking at the thread. It's just, hey, here's a monster and here's a joke. Here's a monster, but like he even remembered to have the Doctor make a joke of, oh, I remember you. Just Chibnall actually fucking knows the Moffat era.
You know when the Doctor was writing the chalk marks on, like, telling her days that she'd been incarcerated in her years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't remember who this was, so I apologize, but somebody out there said, what if she was actually marking the time she saw the silent? It's not that. Another thing that I would have loved would have been if the tally marks were not days or weeks or years, but minutes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but actually, this is like this is like years or days or something. She's been in there for a couple decades or
It's
something,
been on there for 50 years or something crazy like that, but
and she's
I don't
never.
think it's specified exactly how many years have passed, but certainly a few decades, a couple of decades at the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thank you for this gift, Chris Chibnall. I will spend days putting on my tinfoil hat and wondering how Stephen Silent got on this jail cell. As per
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
it's
we
kind of
do have to
obvious.
address. We do have to address the slight elephant in the room here in this.
Okay, let's address it.
At risk of Kristen McTeer ripping my throat out.
Your throat out. Wait, you mean Kristen McTeer, author of Back to the 11th Hour? Available on the...
Yes, the very same person.
Yeah, you mentioned her first, not me.
No, look, if I'm going to have to mention Harry Potter, the least I can do is give Kristen McTeer a shout out.
Which, yeah, she
And
had some shit to say.
Now available from all good Kindle bookshops.
Thank you. Anyway, yeah, so the doctor in jail is laying there, and she says to herself, "Oh, doctor, want to have a bedtime story? Oh, sure, doctor, that'd be swell." And she proceeds to quote the opening lines of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Fuck
Now,
you, Chibnall.
we will say
Fuck
again,
you.
this was written in August of 2019, somewhere around that. It was probably shot and filmed and all that before
No,
J.K. Rowling.
No, fuck that.
Doctor.
Fuck that. You know what this is?
Go ahead.
This is the same thing that you hated. This is Chibnall just calling back to all the better series that came before him.
It is also that, yes. I was devil's advocating for a second.
I think this is if you'll indulge me for a moment, I think this is just a really bad coincidence on his part. I don't think he was intentionally including a reference to J.K. Rowling to rile people up. I don't think he knew, as you said at the time, that she was going to go off the rails like she did.
Oh no!
I think this is just that. Okay, I want the Doctor to tell herself a bedtime story. What is a bedtime story? A children's book. What's the most recognizable children's book internationally? Harry Potter.
Yeah, but you know what he could have done? Something public domain like Cinderella or Snow White or Sleeping Beauty.
Jerry and I were discussing this online the other day, and it would have been really good if, say, her bedtime story was actually like a really serious adult novel.
Yeah.
There are a million ways you could play this joke. I mean, I just devil's advocated the fact that he didn't know at the time he made it. The JK
well, no, that's fine. That's fine. That's not the part that ticks me off about this scene.
However, as we say, once we were getting closer to the air date and JK was doing her bullshit, maybe they should have, edited it out. Hey, remember Row by the Sherwoods?
There was some footage that was shot after the principal photography had wrapped, and therefore during the pandemic. But I couldn't figure out what footage it was.
Yeah, but here's the thing that really ticks me off about this scene and most of this thing. It is not the fact that some of this is coming after a really bad time in the year. Let's ignore for right now all the stuff that is problematic in this because of the time it came out. Let's ignore the J.K. Rowling stuff. Let's ignore the police stuff. Obviously, those are terrible. And let's just focus on what Chibnall is doing.
Right.
The very first scene that you see is a whole bunch of stupid-ass title cards, which I didn't get to say that before. Those are stupid title cards, and I hate them.
Star Wars reference?
Just the whatever the hell it is. I don't give a shit right now. I'm so angry about this right now. He gives us a bunch of location cards, and he goes back to resolution.
Right.
The next thing that we see after that is we see Jack Robertson going back to his episode.
I see where we're going here.
We go inside of the asteroid prison. What do we immediately see the very first thing? I believe it's the Weeping Angel first.
Yeah, okay,
and then we see the
monsters going back.
This is not a man who is moving towards the future. This is a man who realized that he moved too far and is now trying to head back into the past, and he's doing it wrong.
Okay, so your objection here is that it's all bullshit that came before. He's not making up anything new. It's look at this thing, and this plot line, and this
It is
monster.
just a
and this...
continuation of Chris Chibnall does not have an original bone in his fucking body.
I
Because
get you, yeah. And
because
like you said,
I should explain that for those of us in America, BBC America had a special thing where the entire week before they aired the new episode, they showed pretty much all of the Doctor Who episodes from 10 to 12.
neat.
They left out 9 for, I'm sure, reasons that I don't really care about right now. And for some
It's only
reason,
13 episodes.
when I saw it, they cut out a bunch of Martha's episodes too. I'm not sure why.
That's unfortunate.
How dare they?
Yeah.
My
Pretty much they went from you know what? I don't even
Rose to
remember.
Donna?
It doesn't matter. They went straight to Donna, but either way, it doesn't matter. But what they did show was they showed the episode with the witches in Shakespeare.
Ah, yes.
Hey
Which
guys.
ends with Harry Potter bullshit.
Yeah, just a bit.
But back
Just a
then she
bit.
wasn't persona non grata, so that's more.
And back then, we were all hyped up for Deathly Hallow, so that was
Yes.
the joke.
But either
So
It
way,
made a lot more sense in
timely
2007.
reference back then. Now
Either
it's not a timely
way.
reference anymore.
either
Yeah.
way, it just feels weird for Chris Chibnall to choose Harry Potter in order to be the bedtime story that the Doctor tells herself, when we literally just watched an episode where Harry Potter became the thing that fixed everything. And it's like I'm sure that the guys at BBC, when they were making everything, didn't think about that or anything like that, but it's just such a blatant callback. And that's what annoys me the most about this episode.
Yeah,
It is
it's
like I
a
was
callback.
saying in the retrospective, reminding you that it's 2007.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's the point. Right. It is doing that as well. And we ignored it temporarily, but we got to bring it back. And you add the cherry on top of, oh, this person is a fucking turf.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up directly, but yes.
Yeah.
So, not good.
But apart from the Harry Potter reference, I actually think the asteroid stuff is like really intriguing, and they could have done so much more with it. It's for the Doctor's isolation. Instead, no. Speaking of problematic individuals, Captain Jack shows up to bust her out this joint.
Which,
Fucking hell.
okay, look. It's again, he's reminding us 2007 existed. But, at least he kind of does things in this episode.
Yeah, at least he does something.
Yeah, so we're incrementally moving up from Fugitive of the Jejune.
It's not like Fugitive, where he's like, hi, I'm here for a 10-minute cameo, and I'm not going to do anything.
I mean,
And
it
he
felt
does
like
it
he
for a
didn't do
while And then
anything.
disappear, and you'll see
He
me at
busts the
Christmas.
Doctor out of jail with a thing and whooshes them back to the TARDIS.
Yeah, again, I think it may have been script scribbles that says that they were disappointed that they had like a CGI ball and not just have John Barrowman and Jodie Whittaker-Zorbing out of there.
Da 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 da.
Incredible. So
What they do is they do throw back to a lot of old dialogue. Again, not
Oh.
just the bone in the body, but Jack's
Oh,
hidden his
God.
vortex manipulator. That in itself is a throwback, but he's in his
That's the
vortex
throwback.
manipulator in the jail, and how did you get that in there? You don't want to know. That's a throwback all the way to Bad Wolf.
yeah,
Jack has, by the way, committed a few crimes just to get into prison to break the Doctor out.
Possibly too many.
possibly.
And we find out that the Doctor was originally imprisoned for evading Jadoon on 2 counts, and then while she was in there, they found 7,000 other crimes.
God. So that leads us to the fam again, which
Ugh.
this is
Yeah,
kind
the
of
fam.
interesting, in that Ryan and Graham are basically like, the Doctor's probably not coming back, and Yaz is the one stuck in that house TARDIS. the second TARDIS from Timeless Children, which
Yeah,
landed
speaking of
back
the
on
House
Earth.
TARDIS, you know who didn't get mentioned at all in this episode? The three people they saved.
And what's even funnier is none of us realized this on broadcast or cared. But it's funnier if we didn't realize until seeing a tweet on Twitter. I literally, no joke, forgot that they rescued a whole bunch of other humans from the future and brought them back to 2020.
I will say I did realize at the end of the episode when the big thing happens that the Doctor does with the TARDIS, that I won't spoil just yet. But I was like, hey, weren't those people living at that place? Whatever happened to them? And then I realized I didn't see them at all the entire episode.
Chipple forgot.
And not only that, didn't they kind of hint that the older woman was going to be in a relationship with Graham?
Oh my god, I don't know, because I've kind of expunged Timeless Children from my memory, except for the funny bits.
There is no Timeless Children in Ba Sing Se.
Yes.
They certainly implied she had a crush on him anyway, but
you just never mentioned again. Who the fuck?
They referenced the lone Cyberman. They referenced the fact that the Doctor is no longer who she thought she was, but they don't reference these three poor souls.
That's what,
oh, God.
4 characters now that have shown up technically in this episode and have done absolutely nothing?
Did they also collapse in on themselves like the TARDIS did?
Oh, God. But yeah, now we get to Yaz.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Yaz?
Yaz has a crush.
We don't get to talk about Yaz much.
I'm
about
going to get a picture up for the purposes of editing this. It's fun that I get to do this for once, but
okay.
Yeah. So Yaz basically, she's not ready to give up on the Doctor. So in this house TARDIS, she's got all these notes littered across it.
I know what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I think you probably do. So she's kind of like a conspiracy theorist.
Do it. Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Which means that she's kind of like this guy.
I knew it. I knew it. So, yeah.
But she is.
You're not wrong. She's sitting here in the TARDIS notes, and she's like, well, maybe the Doctor set the coordinates to this, or send her on here, and we can get her back. And Ryan and Graham are like, no, the Doctor's gone. Yes, you need to let go.
I had a very different view of this scene, in which case she wants to be in lesbians with her.
Oh, absolutely. That's
yeah. She's in love with the Doctor.
I ship it.
Lesbian energy happening there.
I ship it.
Yes, has a goddamn motivation in this episode. What the fuck?
I mean, I suppose so, but oh, good grief, it's so.
Guys, do you know what this means? It's time.
What's that?
It's time.
Oh, no.
Yes, has a character. It's a miracle.
I thought you were going to say it's time for the lesbian gong show.
Well, that too.
The lesbian. That also was good. Anyway, yeah. So Ryan and Graham they have leaked footage of this Dalek drone test thing, and they're like, "Oh shit, that's a fucking Dalek. We need to plan something." And while they're planning, the Doctor and Jack show up, and it's like, "Hi, fam. I was in space jail," and Yaz is immediately the most pissed off because she cared the most.
Yeah. Not quite. You missed something. You missed one thing.
What did I miss?
Well, that's where they go to find Yaz inside the TARDIS, and they say, hey, we need to do something about this. And in the footage, they see Jack Robertson, excuse me. I always want to say Robinson for some reason. He's Robertson.
I know. I typed Robinson, too, when I was writing the review. So you're not alone.
Yeah. But yeah, they see him, and they decide that they need to go and find him in order to talk to him about this Dalek. But before they do, we get a scene where Joe Patterson, the person who was meeting with him before about these drones, is running for Prime Minister now. And she is absolutely sure she is going to win. So, because of that, she wants Jack to move up the production of the drones so that they will be ready in time for her to take the position.
which this does again shows the age of the episode. Joe Patterson is obviously just Theresa May
Yeah.
with a
Yeah.
serial number filed off. When did she step down again, Rainier?
2019.
When in 2019, though?
Well, Boris won the election in December. He was Prime Minister a few months before that. So I'd say, it was May, wasn't it? The end of May.
Oh, geez. So they must have been really.
That was the joke that the end of May was at the end of May. So.
Okay.
They really just wanted to have this
for a
in
few
there,
weeks, and then Boris won it. So
they must have been like too far in
next
production
Christmas,
to change this.
Next Christmas, the Doctor will be going up against a blonde-haired Prime Minister.
Right.
Called Joris Bonson.
Yeah, so that's a political angle.
We haven't touched much on Joe Patterson, but that's because she's not much of a character. She's just Theresa May.
It's just Theresa May, like, plotting her rise to political power.
Like this is just as unsubtle as Helen A being a Margaret Thatcher allegory. It's.
I mean, at least that had like some comeuppance to it, and
at least
the comeuppance, all right. But,
at least in the Happiness Patrol, she got scenes. This lady gets 3 scenes? 2 of them with Jack, and
she
one where she gets
Jack
killed.
Robertson into helping her.
Well, what I mean is, let me try to formulate my thoughts here.
By threatening
Happiness
to
Patrol
to the public. There's a timely reference for you.
Happiness Patrol had a certain opinion on Margaret Thatcher that it couched in metaphor and allegory and whatnot. This story, I don't get that vibe. Like, I don't know Theresa May's policies, but like, even if I didn't know Margaret Thatcher's policies in general,
anti-immigration before she was Prime Minister than anything. She wasn't really to do with security. She was to do with foreign affairs and keeping people out of the country.
So that's why this lady. Okay.
So they do install Daleks at like border control.
Oh God,
in this episode.
Yes, that's uncomfortable.
I guess that might be what Chibnall's trying to poke, but like, as we said, you know,
it was not subtle at all. I mean, at the very least, with the Margaret Thatcher stuff, you could hand wave that away because the character was still pretty interesting. With this one,
they added a level of artifice to it, right?
Yeah, but with this one, the entire time I'm watching, I had no idea about the Theresa May angle, and I didn't even see it.
It's also such a waste of a good actress like Harriet Walter.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, the entire time I'm watching this, and I'm like, this lady is super into security. Does she have a complex or something? I mean, damn, stop talking about security. I feel like it's a drinking game by this point.
And again, I hate to bring this up, but the unoriginal thing again, this is just his attempt at Harriet Jones.
Yeah.
Except that Harriet Jones had an actual character to her, and you know, you got to see her rise and fall.
I mean, we're going to talk about unoriginal.
Yeah, this lady, her rise and fall happens in the space of about half an hour, and it's a literal fall.
Yeah, actually, I think that's the main problem with this episode is the fact that the pacing is so fast.
Oh, it really is.
I mean,
this was 70 minutes, and they still managed to get the pacing all wrong.
It's very quick. At broadcast, I did kind of like that it went by at a nice clip. But I can also see what you mean. It's like it doesn't really have time to develop some of its ideas. It's just, hey, here's Theresa May, and she's gone.
It's like I would have loved to see
an hour and 20, an hour and 25, an hour and 30 even, and you could have had a lot more time to breathe.
Yeah. I mean, I would have loved to see this lady acting as Prime Minister and the Dalek shells acting as actual security drones. And, you know, kind of like the Power of 3 episode, which you can tell that I watched a lot of Doctor Who this past week. The Power of 3 episode where they had the cubes that were just around and people eventually just accepted that they were there. I would have loved to see sort of a callback to that sort of idea where people just accepted the Daleks.
You know who wrote that pretty good idea of an episode?
I think it was Moffat. But I can't remember.
It was Chibnall!
Was it Chibnall?
Yeah.
Chibnall wrote Power 3.
You motherfucker! You can write good stories and you're not doing it now? You utter bastard!
I think I just made this episode worse for Kat.
Yes! Yes, it did! He could have ripped himself off instead of everybody else.
3 times as worse. Hi-oh.
Oh, shit.
I am so mad right now. I'm, like, legitimately mad.
Oh, God, I'm
I
sorry.
forgot he wrote
Very
Power
bad.
3. That's amazing. That is amazing.
Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger.
Oh, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at Chibnall because he could have done better.
Oh, mood.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I really
Of course,
liked
Jet
Power
show up and
3.
Jez has
That
a,
was
where the
interesting.
hell have you been moment. We do get a scene between Robertson and the trio,
Yes.
Yaz, Ryan, and Graham, which is rather good. And they say, "We know you're working with the Dalek, and we're going to stop you." And he just has him arrested by security people.
He's also like, what the fuck is a Dalek?
But this is good. This is good because it shows that without the Doctor, they are rather limited in what they can do.
Which...
They're not helpless. They're far from helpless. I mean, they had the initiative to go and confront him, find out where he was. But there's only so much they can do on their own.
That's gonna undercut against the emotional finale of the episode.
I think
Yeah.
it undercuts against the characters now.
Oh, yeah, that too. That too. Like, I
'Cause,
mean, look at somebody like, I don't know, Clara.
Well, not even
It's
that.
fine.
It's not even that. It's the fact that as they're leaving the scene, somehow managing to get away from the bodyguards, which we don't see how that happens, even though they had guns pointed at them. But they're just
Anyway,
walking
moving
away. They're walking away, and they're just like, man, this is really hard without the Doctor or the TARDIS or the psychic paper. It's like, why would you mention the psychic paper? They're gonna get psychic paper later, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh,
But,
do they actually mention psychic paper?
They do actually
Yes.
mention psychic paper.
they say
Oh
this is
my
difficult.
God.
This is difficult without the TARDIS and the Doctor and the psychic paper.
Lord.
And it's like,
So,
that
at this
makes no
point-
sense. And it's so aggravating.
Well, it makes sense when you figure out the
Then
episode.
we get the little bit where Yaz is angry with the Doctor for leaving them in the lurch. But of course, from the Doctor's point of view, she's done nothing wrong. She's just broken out of jail.
Hmm.
She wasn't to know that it was 10 months had passed. But those 10 months are significant, as we'll find out later on.
Well, it's not even just that. It's the fact that she set her TARDIS to go back to the same time that she sent them to, but something messed up. And of course, they're like, well, of course, something always messes up.
Right. Interesting read I've got on that, then, is thinking back to the Doctor's wife.
Okay, I know.
The
what's going-
TARDIS says you don't always take where I need to be. No, but where I want to go. No, but I always took you where you needed to go. So is it possible the TARDIS did this specifically?
Maybe.
Possibly. But we'll talk more about the Doctor's wife later on.
Yes, we will. Oh,
Meanwhile,
fuck.
if we can just get through a bit more of the plot. Meanwhile, Leo has been a bit of an idiot, and
A bit.
he
Right.
found organic material inside the shell that they pilfered from GCHQ. So of course he did exactly what any normal upstairs citizen would do. He cloned the damn thing.
And he made himself a new Dalek.
He made
blob.
himself a creature.
And even
Dumbest,
though he's
smart
an utter,
person.
he's an utter shitlord of a character, but you do kind of have to relate to Robertson here because Leo's like, look at it, it's incredible. It's the ugliest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life. What the fuck are you doing? Burn it.
The weirdest thing about this is that this episode it actually gives Robertson some humanity at points.
No, fuck him. Fuck him and fuck this scene. Fuck this scene in particular. I hate this scene so much.
This scene, why?
Because, alright, I'm trying not to turn this into the Cat Power Hour where I just rant about this entire episode, even though I absolutely could. That's how much I despise this episode. But-
oh yeah,
But just the idea that this is a guy who is smart enough to be able to take the Dalek technology and reform it into a robot that is capable of a water gun, the gas release, and the sonic attack, as well as, just everything to do with it, especially
Coding
since later.
advanced AI and shit.
Yeah, coding advanced AI. Later on, we see that they're 3D printing these things in their entirety.
Yeah, and they run off solar power.
They run off solar power. Yes, he is a genius in this. And his genius idea is, I found some random DNA inside of this. Let's go ahead and try cloning this. And then, you know what's a really great idea? Let's take this thing that I cloned, even though I have no idea what it is, and let's connect it to the fucking internet. That sounds like a great idea. And you know what? My boss is telling me now to get rid of this thing. I don't really want to, but I'm going to listen to him. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take it over to this incinerator, and instead of just throwing the whole case in, I'm going to open the fucking case up and take the monster out.
They do explain this a bit later on if you pay attention to it.
I don't
Please,
fucking
give me the
care.
explanation for this.
The explanation is that when he got the very first clone cells of the creature, he was already under their influence.
Oh,
Are you fucking kidding me?
They say that. That's why he made the facility in Osaka, Japan. Because obviously it took time for that to be done.
That's a hard pill for me to swallow.
Well, that's what they say.
I know. You don't shoot the messenger. Again, no, that's a hard pill.
It's a very hard pill to swallow, and again, it's lazy writing. But that, I think, is what they were going for, and they were calling back to resolution, where the smallest.
No. I remember this now. The Dalek does not say that he was controlling Leo at the time. The Dalek said as soon as he was connected to the network, he started the process of getting this whole farm set up.
Oh, he started it, right.
It was the Dalek, so Leo had no part in this.
Leo's a massive idiot then.
Leo's a massive fucking idiot.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
I had to look through my notes again, because I was typing these up as I was watching it, and the entire time I spent it staring at my computer screen, furious.
I will hold my hands up to that one then. I was just going off what they said in resolution.
Fair enough.
But, and speaking of resolution, we do get that great callback to Leo with the Dalek on his back.
Yeah. Can I just say, oh no, I accidentally put my cloned creature in the most expensive fireproof glass case known to man.
At least that would have been a fucking explanation. But no, instead he decides to open up the thing with the living alien creature that he connected to the internet.
But Kat, why explain when you can reference?
Because Chris Chibnall does not have an original bone in his fucking body. That's why.
Why explain when you can reference okay?
Well, apparently he did in 2012 when he wrote The Power of Three. Maybe he had it taken out in surgery. I don't know.
Whatever you say, Ernest Klein.
Fuck. Oh, that actually. Oh, shit.
I am honestly so mad because of this episode. And the entire time I was watching it, I was not having a good time because I was furious about this writing.
I was having a good time, but you're valid.
Yeah.
This episode has
anyway. So Leo was now under the control of the Dalek mutants that he's cloned himself. Idiot.
Fucking idiot.
We do get a nice callback to resolution and how it was controlling Charlotte Ritchie's character in that story. The Doctor then takes Jack and the fam. I hate that word, but Jack and the fam to confront Robertson. And Robertson's like, "What are you doing here? There is nothing going on." He said, "We're not. I don't know what a Dalek is. I think at one point he calls it a Dalek, which is brilliant."
Look. All we're doing is 3D printing these security drones. That's all we're doing.
From his perspective, right? The act of printing out the drones is nothing wrong. It's just the factory's process.
It's just the fact that it's fucking Daleks. His idiot tech bro.
It's just business, but it's just business to him.
It is just.
He doesn't know what a Dalek is. He doesn't know what they do yet.
Yeah.
When he does, that's when I have a problem with him. But
Oh yeah.
here right now, he's an idiot, but he's an unknowing idiot.
Yeah.
And these random space people are like, you.
Yeah. Which mitigates somewhat some of the things that happen. His responsibility up to a point.
Yeah.
To a point.
But as soon as the hole was revealed, we just have this randomly empty hole in the drones. Oh yeah, mate. I wonder what that's going to be used for.
I wonder.
And we find out exactly what it's going to be used for because they split up. Yaz and Jack go to the facility in Osaka to blow it up.
Harkness, that is.
Literally to blow it up. And while Ryan, Graham, and the Doctor are left alone. I think they're in the TARDIS, aren't they?
Yeah, they're in the TARDIS and they're like on the way to.
And is this where we get the nice little scene between the Doctor and Ryan?
I think the Jack and Yaz scene first, actually.
Yeah.
I think. Well, we can talk about that one first.
It doesn't really matter. We're not really doing this in any kind of strict chronological order, but there are two heartfelt scenes. Jack talking to Yaz, and Ryan talking to the Doctor. So let's first discuss Jack and Yaz's scene, because I think you want to talk about this, don't you, Jerry?
I like the scene. It's nice. I like both these scenes. There are criticisms you can have of them, but their hearts are in the right place, you know? So the Jack and Yaz one, it's both of these characters dealing with having been left behind by the Doctor. Yaz, obviously, the 10 months, and she's been real torn up about that. She hasn't let go, quite like Ryan or Graham have. And Jack can relate because of that time he was left behind after the whole Bad Wolf Satellite 5 thing, Series 1 finale. Which, like, I get the core of the scene is very nice, you know, dealing with abandonment by the Doctor, helping Yaz heal, but also it does unfortunately fall into that problem Kat keeps bringing up, that Chibnall doesn't have an original bone in his body and has to remind us of the resolution to a 15-year-old Doctor Who.
It's like the thing that really annoys me about Jack, it's just before this scene when he's in the TARDIS and he's explaining his immortality to the others and talking about Rose. Not only do
shit.
I hated that. Because it's like, thank you, Exposition Fairy, telling that to all the little kiddies who didn't watch the 10th Doctor. And also, the fact that I don't think Jodie actually reacted to the name of Rose, and you think she would have.
Oh, that would have been something, but yeah.
Especially with how big Rose was and Bad Wolf was.
Yeah. I mean, I like this character development. It's more character development for Yaz, so good. We're talking about her feelings and having an outlet to deal with it with someone she can relate to about it, and having nice conversation and banter. It's good. You know? This is the good shit. Again, where was this 2.5 years ago? I digress.
Oh, we also got a Rose reference, didn't we?
Yeah.
We sure did.
Yeah, they brought up the Rose stranded in the parallel universe, and that's why Jack can't die.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I really hate that part because it's like, thank you, Mr. Exposition.
Yeah, again, show it.
Also, you know, the fact that Jack can't die doesn't even come up in those. He doesn't get killed by the Daleks and come back.
No, he doesn't get touched by anybody.
What the fuck is up with referencing that?
No, he almost got killed.
Almost.
But he didn't actually get killed. But so that's Yaz and Jack. They've got their own. They're having a nice heart to heart right before they try to blow up the Osaka base.
Speaking of, oh well, I don't think this the part in the Osaka base happens yet. So we can talk about the Doctor and Ryan having
this
heart
has
to heart.
very very much significant consequences for the end of the show. But
I like this. I like this scene. It has its problems, but I like heart in the right place. You know.
Even though it refers back to the timeless children.
And well,
I like
and also for you.
As divisive as the timeless children was,
and
it was very divisive.
Yes.
Oh,
I like the
as
fact
it
we
ever.
haven't just dropped it completely. They actually did bother to bring it up here. And they actually did bother to mention its effects on the Doctor.
Yeah, barely.
And Ryan is helping her come to terms with that and being her friend,
Yeah.
which is
Again,
nice. I
where was
mean,
this 2.5 years ago?
you could argue, oh, the man is motivating the female doctor or something.
No, it's one friend motivating another friend. That's allowed.
It's not. It's nice. I don't remember the exact one, but the old and the new, which is ironic considering Jim was so focused on the old episode. But
Well, I think the
there's also
upshot is that she says, "I'm not who I think who I thought I was. I'm nothing about what I thought I was." She says, "Yes, you are. You're still the Doctor."
hmm which you know was kind of what an episode called "The Timeless Children" was getting at with that overlooked matrix thing. Hey, bitch, you're the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but having a little reassurance. Maybe she like got a little depressed over it with 50 years in space jail or whatever.
And then once again, it is exposition time because
Well, we got Ryan's side though, which is
yeah, Jack's attempts to blow up the Daleks fails.
hang on, please. Can we talk about Ryan a little bit?
Yeah.
Sure, go on.
Just because his 10 months back on Earth, he hasn't really missed the TARDIS because he likes being around for his friends and family and his planet, which if the Doctor's little emotional motivation this scene ties back to an episode you times children, Ryan's really ties back to an episode you two don't like because it's obviously following up on the plot threads from Orphan 55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can like they made the climate change hell world his nightmare and Can You Hear Me? So obviously, yeah, of course he's back and he's like, I want to make a difference. I want to be there for the people I care about.
Yeah,
Well,
but you
this
see,
is development.
It's good development.
That's still bullshit, though, because at the end of the episode, they're not running off to go fight against pollution with Captain Planet. They're going off to fight off Captain Planet himself, the alien.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem. I agree.
Yeah, it is.
But we'll get to that in the finale.
So can we now get to the titular revolution of the Daleks?
I do like the scene with Jack and Yaz in the thing where the Daleks crawl out like face huggers and try to get them. It's a simple.
So alien, and I love it.
Was
It's
cool.
a simple, visceral thrill, but I dig it.
And it was wasted on
Great
this episode.
Cinematography, great filming here. The fact that Jack uses the squareness gun to disintegrate 2 of the Dalek mutants. Yeah,
Which
okay,
is another
again, it's another
callback to
reference.
2005.
It's a callback,
go.
but it's an effective one to get rid of them and save
It's
his
just
life.
a laser gun, with it slightly
Yeah.
whatever.
It's never
decent.
known to disintegrate people before, but
Oh,
first time for
so
everything.
Actually, funnily
here's-
enough, Jack's gun is also a callback because River Song used it back in the Silence in the Library episodes.
Yeah.
son of a goddamn. Oh shit! Really? How
Yeah. Like I said, I had a whole week where I was doing nothing but watching
But
Doctor
did
Who
he use it
episodes,
first
so
in series 1?
He used it first. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably.
Rivers was the callback, not Jack.
Anyway, the revolution of the Daleks, which is actually more
Yeah,
attempted
so
to
by
of the
now,
Daleks. but anyway.
Robertson has now been forced on board the TARDIS, and to Kristinov's credit, he really sells the fact that he can't understand what the hell is going on with this machine.
What a dork.
His acting is actually really good throughout this.
It is pretty funny that Graham's just like, I ain't going to tell him, you going to tell him? Because I ain't.
Yeah, this is too much fun. So they all arrive at Osaka. Robertson points out, this is not. I did not give any kind of clearance for this. What the hell are you doing, Leo? But of course, it isn't Leo.
Yeah.
It's
It's
the
a
mutant on his
Dalek.
back.
yeah.
And it turns out that the mutant on his back has been busy and has somehow got access to the computer network through Leo and has been building an entire complex in Osaka. And
Yeah, through
nobody
the
noticed.
internet. Through the internet. He used
And
apparently
also
a food
feeding
farm.
the employees of this complex.
Oh
who's
god,
building
yeah.
it
Oh
through
god,
the
yeah.
Daleks.
Yes, once they were finished building it, they had another use for them. So they
Hey!
humans. I mean,
Hey,
Daleks.
hey, guys! Hey, y'all! Daleks turning people into food. Where have we seen that plot before?
I don't know, that's a
Gee.
pretty big revelation.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. This must be like maybe the 6th time this has happened or something.
By the way, this episode did not have a goofy DJ, 0 out of 10.
Exactly.
Actually, I think that's
Does
10 out of 10.
have is another callback which I didn't get until they pointed it out. But the lighting slowly changes to this purple hue.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
that mean? It's actually this is a
Who
resolution plotline
Who
thing.
is screwing with the lights? Is it Leo, the Dalek mutant, or the 1995 Denver Broncos?
No, it's ultraviolet light, which I guess is something that was introduced in resolution as the way the Doctor can get back into a case and reform.
Sure.
So shining ultraviolet light on all the Doctors.
Oh, I
That's-
remember now.
I had to go back and check this.
Yeah.
But yes. Back in Resolution, the two archaeologists accidentally bring the mutant back to life partially with ultraviolet light.
Yeah, it's like the ultraviolet light hasn't called the other pieces of itself to it.
It stimulates it to grow and repair.
Except this is like the reverse because it makes all the Dalek teleport to the empty drone shells.
Well, I think what is happening is that there was a trace of the clone Dalek. I'll call it the clone Dalek, so you know what it is. Inside one of the shells,
Dalek Sec, yes.
and then that was replicated through all the different drones, and so the ultraviolet light teleports them into the drones.
Okay.
I think he said something
I
about
guess.
like making it so that they had a home in the case or something like that, so then they would automatically go to it.
It's
Either
that or
way.
the ultraviolet light gives them the power to teleport, but
Yeah,
again,
either way,
not
they're
explained.
in there. They're in there.
Also,
They're in
Leo
there,
gets
and
killed.
all hell promptly breaks loose.
Also, Leo gets killed. He had 2 days left.
Yeah, and the Dalek even says you don't have to kill him, and he just murders him anyway.
So, all hell havoc breaking loose.
This is I just have to touch on the extras that are getting shot.
I know who you're gonna talk about. Go off. Go off.
Shout out to Scottish Guard man.
Put him in. Put him in. Put the GIF in.
I'll put a GIF in this because I have to. If I get a strike for this, I don't care. So the Dalek shoots one of the people. I think it's like it's a Scottish tourist attraction or something. And then the Scottish Guardsman just walks up to the Dalek and eventually gets shot and pirouettes to the ground.
It's something.
It's so dramatic.
So yeah, Daleks have gone bad. They're just killing everyone in sight. And then we get a press conference from Joe Patterson, who's like, "Oh, it's okay. Everything's under control, except it's not." And she gets exterminated live on the air.
She's here to announce Tier 5 of the lockdown.
Oh, honey. Oh, honey, no.
Literally, as I made that joke, Boris Johnson's announcing a new lockdown.
Yeah.
Topical humour.
Well, you know,
I can't take full credit for this, however, because as soon as the scene got played out, she got shit blasted by about 5 Daleks at once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the Daleks take over the press conference. People are saying, Tier 5 announcement in progress.
Well, to be fair, she wasn't wearing her mask and she didn't stay 6 feet away from everybody. She got what she deserved.
So yeah, they. I mean,
I'm laughing, but
they fucking exterminated. They exterminated, not like.
Yeah.
That would feel That would feel like pointed dark commentary in any other era, but from Chibnall, like, I don't think he has an opinion.
I will say,
the villain got a comeuppance.
What?
Not even that,
She
but
maybe
I
didn't
am
deserve that
glad.
much of a comeuppance, but she got a comeuppance, and Leo. We're meant to see Leo as a victim.
Yeah, just a bit.
He's an idiot, but he's also a victim.
I mean,
But he pays for what he did by
I don't know if I guess Chopin is she a villain? I'm babbling. I'm not
Well,
sure
she
here. Truthfully.
blackmails Robertson into making the drones, so...
She's also apparently the one that told Robertson about the truck.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
she tipped him off. She tipped him off.
blackmail and murder. Okay, that's fine. She is a villain,
Well,
but she's
blackmail
not like
and conspiracy to murder, but yes.
Yeah.
what? Right. So, okay, fine.
I will say it is very
Villain.
nice to see the Daleks doing what Daleks do best and actually exterminating a bunch of people, rather than the stupid bullshit we had last year with there's a Dalek, he's taking control of people, and he just keeps passing back and forth through people.
And I will give some credit to the show producers here. The decision to give we'll call them the drone Daleks to differentiate them from other Daleks that are showing up later on.
We'll be talking about it in a second.
The drone Daleks, they don't have blue light on the eye stalk, they have red. They don't have blue death rays, they have red.
To show that
They've
they're
got red
the
on
evil Daleks, and the other ones are the
It's
good
good
Daleks?
to basically, it's a subtle way of saying these are not your ordinary Daleks.
Speaking of our ordinary Daleks, here's our Doctor's grand plan.
Ugh.
Tattle on the drone Daleks to actual space Daleks.
The Death Squad.
Which seems a bit of an oxymoron. The Death Squad of Daleks? I mean, they're fucking Daleks. All Daleks are a fucking Death Squad.
Again, it's not properly explained in the episode. But I think the idea is that this is a special group of Daleks whose main mission is to rid the world of Dalek impurities.
Which, maybe, but that's any Dalek would do that because that's their whole deal.
It's you didn't have to call them the Death Squad. You could have just called them the Daleks, the OGs, whatever you wanted to call them.
Anyway, there they are, and
they're bronze. The other ones are black. The drones look like they've got like a CD player in the middle of them.
So, talking about callbacks and unoriginality, this episode's basically Daleks. Like, the whole, we're secretly growing Daleks is very Power of the Daleks, which is the first Patrick Troughton story. You haven't seen that one yet, but trust me on that. Which kind of had a remake in an episode that does draw on this a bit more. Victory of the Daleks.
This is very Victory of the Daleks, yes.
Yeah. And now we have two factions of Daleks that are going to fight each other. Very Remembrance of the Daleks. And one set of Daleks is all about racial impurity and whatnot, which, again is kind of a Remembrance of the Daleks. But also kind of Daleks in Manhattan.
Very much so. We must adapt to survive.
It's just a whole fucking melange.
Especially since
Dalek
apparently
influence.
they have human
it's a big old
DNA mixed in.
mishmash of old Dalek tropes.
Can I get my
But
theory
in fairness,
now?
we did criticize Resolution.
Can
Go
I
ahead,
get my
Kat.
theory?
Resolution. Sorry, can't go ahead.
Well, I just want to say this is my theory, and the only way that it can be proven is if the same thing happens next year. But my theory is that Chris Chibnall is using these New Year episodes in order to get the legal obligation out of the way so that they can continue to use the Daleks, while also making sure that he doesn't have to use the Daleks anywhere in the actual show itself.
Could be.
That's just what it feels like to me. Like, this is a legal obligation. I'm going to throw together a story about Daleks. Let's throw in a bunch of Dalek tropes and just make it as Dalek as possible. So then we have another year to play around with these things.
Well, I mean, if that's his goal, look at some of the Moffat stuff. Like Series 6, which we covered. The only Daleks in Series 6 was that one Dalek that was fucked up in Wedding River Song. Like, if he wanted to just keep the rights but not really use the Daleks, all he needed to do was just, oh, hey, there's a Dalek. Here's a Dalek force. Exterminate! There you go. Rights secured.
See, that's fine, but here's the thing. He made 2 Dalek-centric episodes that are both specials 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pattern by now.
It could also be that he thinks, oh, this is the most eyes are going to be on this. Let's market it with the most recognizable Doctor Who monster.
Yeah, but nobody wants that. There are so many better Doctor Who episodes that came out during Christmas time that don't involve a classic Doctor Who monster.
You're
Looking
right,
at you,
but
husbands of River Song.
you're right,
At
but
midnight.
that's just other.
Just
And many others that I could mention, but I won't.
Can we talk about this fucking plan though? Because this is one of those things. This is one of those things where in the moment you're like, oh shit, it's two sets of Daleks each other up. There's a certain dumb visceral thrill to that.
Oh, that's not what I
will
was
admit.
thinking. I can tell you that right now. I was thinking, you dumb bitch. Are you serious right now?
Well, well, I'll admit I got caught up in the spectacle and didn't really think of that aspect of it until later, but it's definitely
It's a very
present.
stupid thing that she does. But she's not adverse to doing stupid things because we saw that with the Lone Cyberman. We saw that with oh god, what was another thing she did that was stupid and then she later fixed it. Kablam wasn't her fault.
Citation needed.
The Lone Cyberman is definitely the prime example.
Fair enough.
Giving it,
But-
you don't give it the Siberium. I'm going to give it the Siberium. No.
Oopsie doopsie. Yeah, well, that worked out eventually. But anyway, yeah,
Well-
but this is a little more troublesome because here's the thing. Yeah, unleashing a Dalek on planet Earth. Anyone those Daleks kill is kind of on you, Doctor Who, huh?
They do.
I mean, we don't
However,
don't
luckily
see
for
those
the
Daleks.
planet, they don't seem particularly interested in killing the humans. These Death Squad Daleks
That we see.
Yeah.
that we see.
But-
Yeah, true.
But even so, like, fuck it, even though we don't see it.
Well, I think our dramatic extra death quota had hit the total at this point. So
Right.
Right. And also,
No, wait, so
let's
these
let's
Daleks-
fucking forget about the Daleks right now. We're going to talk about something super important. We're going to talk about cane toads.
What?
Yeah. So back in 1935, some people in Queensland, Australia, were having some trouble with bugs in their sugarcane plantations. So they came up with the grand idea: hey, what if we get some toads? We'll put them in the sugarcane plantations. They'll eat all the bugs, and that'll help our problem. Unfortunately, the toad that they picked was called the cane toad. The cane toad then started to breed like you would not believe. That cane toad is now an invasive species and is regularly killed by many Australians because it is a pest. Florida is also having a problem now where they have a bunch of, I believe, anacondas wandering around as an invasive species. And people are trying to figure out good ways to eat them now just to see if they can get rid of them. The point is that in the history of the entire world, humanity in general, invasive species have always been a thing. Always been a thing. This is something that the Doctor would definitely have run into. Why the fuck would you bring actual Daleks to defeat the fucking mutant Daleks when you know what the Daleks are like? You just created the invasive species problem.
I wonder where you were going with that, and now it makes perfect sense.
The Daleks are
I mean,
cane toads. That's what this is. The Daleks are
that's
cane
the,
toads.
That's the tweet for this episode sorted out. The Daleks are cane toads.
The Daleks are king.
And that
Yeah,
that is
I
the
get what
worst
you're
part
talking
of her entire plan is she decides to introduce a bigger predator into a scene that cannot have these bigger predators.
Well, I'd argue the worst part of her plan is the fact that she brought them into the conflict, not knowing at that point how she was going to get rid of them again.
Well, see, that's
Right.
the problem about invasive species too, is that they think it's going to be manageable, and then all of a sudden it's way worse. Because at the beginning there was only a couple of Daleks that we could see, and then later in the scene when the Doctor is confronting them, it's like a fuck ton of Daleks all of a sudden.
Yeah, there were sticks on board the ship, and a gajillion that came out of the ship.
But you see what I'm saying there? Like the cane toad, they started off small, and then they multiplied to dangerous levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get where you're coming
I
from.
do get that, but
It's not a good plan that
No.
they've
we've
invented.
got a confrontation between the drone Daleks and the classic Daleks. And war breaks out between the two factions. He said, this is not war, this is pest control. Because the OGs wipe the absolute floor with the drones.
Cane toads.
Sure do.
I don't
And,
think the bronze Daleks get a single casualty, do they?
Anyway, we
Not
should
that I
talk
know of.
about the fucking other horrible thing that happens right around here.
Oh, are you referring to some kind of sudden but inevitable betrayal?
I sure am. Jack Robertson's a
shitlord.
bitch-ass motherfucker.
What a shitlord. So, he witnesses the slaughter on the bridge. And it is slaughter. The poor old drones don't get a single kill in this.
I wouldn't call
Because,
them
you know, the
poor
original
drones.
Daleks are the best. Original Daleks are number one. But Robertson then drops from the bridge. And even though he's told, you know, they'll shoot you on sight, for some reason they don't. He manages to talk his way into an alliance with them. And he tells them the one thing that they must not know. That the Doctor is the one that sent them to planet Earth.
Which, you know, Doctor Who is the one thing that can set a Dalek into a frothing frenzy. Oh, fuck! It's about to let me in the Daleks!
The only thing that stops them going on a rampage, murderous rampage right there and then, is that they're still focused on eliminating the last of the drone Daleks.
God.
So Robertson silver tongues his way onto the Dalek saucer. He even gets to say, take me to your leader, which I rolled my eyes hard at.
So the Doctor, not knowing this, they come up with a double-pronged plan of attack. Captain Jack, Ryan, and Graham are going to go on the Dalek ship and plant explosives and blow it to fuck, while the Doctor and Yaz are going to do a thing that we find out later to get rid of the remaining Daleks on Earth.
Yeah.
So while the three are up on the ship setting bombs, they find Robertson like, oh shit, he's totally sold us out. That rat bitch. So
what I don't like about this is they didn't have a bit, and again, this is where the runtime comes into it. They should have had a bit where they sort of had to talk Jack down into killing Robertson.
God.
Or from killing Robertson, because it's the sort of thing Jack would do. Jack does not have any qualms about killing people that deserve it.
He doesn't feel like Jack is the problem. He just doesn't. It's like it's literally like John Barrowman trying to pretend to be Jack rather than being Jack.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Right.
So Jack does not kill Robertson, and at no point is he shown to try and kill Robertson. But long story short, the plan actually works, or Jack's side of the plan works. They decide to rescue Robertson because, yes, he betrayed them, but he's still human.
They're good
They
people.
can't just leave him to be killed.
Yeah.
If this had been another era of the show, maybe Mom's era of the show, he'd have been left on that Dalek sauce to burn, but
Yeah.
he isn't.
Oh
On this
no,
occasion,
we
he isn't.
couldn't
He
find
does get a good
him.
line as he's being dragged away saying, "This is a terrible rescue." It did make me chuckle.
Actually, it would have been
But,
kind of funny. It's like, oh no, we couldn't find him. I'm right here. No, couldn't find him
Captain
whatsoever.
Jack Harkness and I'm immortal line is delivered to the Daleks just before they teleport off the ship with the vortex manipulator, and boom bang, they're gone.
And
the
also,
ship's
he never
gone.
actually dies. So, woo.
No, he
whatever.
never actually does. The six Daleks on board the ship, they're toast, they're history. We still have hundreds and hundreds of them whizzing around in the sky. Oh, we should also mention that there is a rather interesting bit where the last of the drones teleports onto the Dalek saucer and asks for mercy.
Which it does not get.
It does not get it. It gets blasted into oblivion.
It, in fact, I
But
think
it
was
makes a
the
good point,
original
you know, I had
clone
to
at
adapt
that.
to survive. He said, "You are input pure. You have human DNA." He said, "I can be purified. The only purification for you is extermination." Boom. So that's gone. Genocide in a moment.
And
But-
So the Doctor's grand plan then to deal with the rest
Yeah.
of the Daleks
And
is
I'm
to
going to be honest with you, this is really neat.
okay. On
This is
initial
actually really
viewing,
clever.
I gotta say, yeah, but let's just lay out how this goes. So, the TARDIS materializes in the middle of the air. The Doctor pokes her head out, and she's like, "Hey, Daleks, look at me! It's your mortal arch enemy. You are an enemy of the Daleks. You must be destroyed." And they go for her, and they all fucking pile into this TARDIS like a clown car.
Yep.
But this is the clever feint. That's not the Doctor's TARDIS. It was the house TARDIS from before, and the working chameleon circuit disguised itself as a 1960s police box to fool them and us into thinking it was the actual TARDIS we know and love.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
And she's
Doctor's a hologram.
On board. She's a hologram. She's a hologram.
Yep.
And she's like, "Well, oh, I got you now. Now I'm going to collapse this TARDIS into." So, this crunches up just like you're smooshing a paper ball, and all the Daleks are gone.
Hey, Frez.
So, wait. Before we say that, I want to say one thing. In the retrospective, we had a big thing about how the Doctor never stops her enemies, and she either lets them go, or some secondary character is the one to heroically go, "I'll save the day."
Yeah.
So the Doctor, unambiguously, all by herself, using her own power and will, fucked those Daleks up.
Yep.
Okay?
So
And
Okay.
hey, Frez. Hey, Frez.
Yes, Cat.
Do you know what else the Doctor really fucked up in this scene?
Oh, yeah, I do. Hey, Rainiac. What episode was it you mentioned before from the Matt Smith years?
Victory of the Daleks.
No,
No.
not quite. Had to
No,
do
no,
with
it's
the spousal figure.
It's a Series 6 episode.
Oh, the Doctor's wife.
The
Yeah.
Doctor's Wife. What did we learn in the Doctor's Wife, and indeed in all of Doctor Who in general?
Oh God, the TARDIS is alive.
TARDIS is a fucking sentient. She murdered one.
Yeah. Yeah, just a bit.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
She
Oh my
murdered.
God.
Yeah. Wait, I didn't bring this up to you before?
Well, of course the TARDIS. It never occurred to me until you just mentioned it now that she destroyed it.
To be
It's a
fair, it
living
never occurred to
creature.
me until I went looking on reviews and stuff. I saw one of the comments that mentioned this, and it's like, oh, holy shit, they're right.
Oh, that's dark as hell.
TARDIS is a fucking sentient, and she killed one.
Well, who
I mean,
cares
the TARDIS
about this
is
TARDIS?
dark
It's
as
not
hell
the
anyway, but this
Doctor's.
is double dark.
She
Yeah.
killed a fucking TARDIS. Jesus.
Jesus.
I don't think Chibnall even thought about this either. He probably didn't. There's no
No, I don't
way
think
he
he
thought
did.
about it. He just went, oh, hey, we got this spare TARDIS. Oh, we can, crunch it up and pull him. That's a great idea. Let's roll. And he never thought of it.
I mean, on the one hand, it's quite clever, and we accuse him of not having an original idea. This was pretty original.
Hey,
On the other hand, she killed a fucking TARDIS.
yeah,
the other hand,
here's
it's
an original
terrifying.
idea. Here's an original idea for you. The idea that TARDIS may have been screaming the entire time it folded in on itself.
Oh, God.
So anyway,
You're
the
welcome for
Daleks
the
are
nightmare
all
fuel.
gone. The Doctor gets a nice little speech which says, "I'll beat you every single time. I'll be there to stop you every single time."
And hey, what about Robertson, who nearly sold out humanity to the Daleks? What
He
happened
gets
to him?
lauded
Because
as a
he was
fucking
deliberately
hero.
acting as a decoy. Which
Fucking
is a pretty
scot-free
bullshit
again.
excuse. And he gets away with it.
Oh, he doesn't just get away with it. He becomes the fucking hero of the story.
Okay, this is what I mean. Remember when you said, Chibnall learned from the backlash? No, bullshit. He didn't learn shit because he did it again but worse.
Yeah. He's going to become an honorary knight of the realm. He's going to relaunch his political career off the back of this. And all because he sold them out.
Yeah.
This is worse than the spider thing. The spider thing, I know you argued, oh, it was a giant spider. It was fine. He was going to die anyway. He put it out of his misery, blah, 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 blah. And he didn't get stopped. That was a minor sticking point. This man nearly sold out humanity and he gets fucking knighted for it. Fuck that.
I will
Yeah,
say, though,
that's-
that selling everybody out for political aspirations is definitely a Trump thing.
Ugh. Fuck.
I wouldn't put it past Chibnall, though, if he's still writing the show, to make Robertson appear a third time.
I mean, this time he can actually, follow up on the real world parallel of Trump losing.
Yeah?
So, who knows?
Unless
what
this is
that-
the bad timeline where
But
Trump
also,
wins.
the reason why Chris Noth was in this episode at all is because he so enjoyed being in the first episode he was in. He could
Right.
not wait to come back.
Ugh.
Okay.
And again, whatever you think of the character and the fact that he gets away scot-free again, he acted it really well.
He did.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. I have the
He's
problem
a
with the
totally
writing.
convincing toe rag. But it's not the acting that's the problem, it's what they do with the character.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Again, all it needed was a little bit of a TV news clip to say he'd been arrested or something. But that's fine.
No, you know what would have been really funny? If Robertson took the Doctor's place on the asteroid prison. That would have been deserved.
Anyway, we should get to the wrap up of this episode because
We should, but there's a very, very important bit right at the end
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
that we have to
we got-
address. So
we're going to talk
Jack-
about that, of course.
Jack is not going to become a full-time companion, as some people feared might happen.
He's
He's
off.
off to have his own adventures. Gwen Cooper gets name dropped.
I really hate this scene too because the entire time the Doctor's saying goodbye to Jack and we don't see him once.
Yeah. So he's going to go reconnect with his old Torchwood buddy, Gwen Cooper. So Jack's gone.
Oh no.
But that's
Also-
fine, because the fam are going to travel with the Doctor through space, right? Wrong.
Haha, no.
Ryan's
Ryan-
done.
Ryan has reached the end of his rope.
Well, it's more like we said. He wants to do better things on planet Earth.
Yeah, but
It's
also
fun.
that 10 months that they were apart, it gave him time to do some thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And
A
this
a
is
graceful
why it's
exit
significant.
on his own terms.
This is why it's significant that the TARDIS arrived 10 months after it was supposed to. And again,
Yep.
maybe that was intentional.
Yeah.
Also, not.
Maybe the TARDIS knew that Ryan had to branch out on his own or something. But anyway.
That's a bit much. But anyway, also leaving is Graham, who doesn't want
Yeah.
to miss out on
Graham
his
originally
grandson.
decides to stay with the Doctor and go on adventures, but then when Ryan declares that he's leaving the TARDIS, he says, "Well, I can't miss out on my grandson growing up," and the Doctor absolutely understands this.
And it's
She's
pretty
very
sad.
sad
Bye,
about
fam.
it.
Bye, fam. All that.
Yeah, she's very sad about it, but she understands that they've got to make their own way through the world.
And she gives
And
him a
that's
gift of
used to
psychic
check-
paper.
Yeah.
That
We don't
wasn't
know exactly
foreshadowed.
At that point.
Yeah,
But,
but which
we also get a shot of the four of them in a group that looks like the friendship mark from Yu-Gi-Oh! Like the full hands crossed over. But by the way, they made that into an actual card, which is hilarious.
I
I
know,
know,
it's
I
the
know.
worst.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
Ryan and
Yes,
Graham.
staying with the Doctor.
Yes, it's
Surprisingly,
staying.
Yes, is staying with the Doctor. She's abandoning her two colleagues.
Doctor and Yaz, solo character. Let's go. Let's fucking
Yeah.
go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well-
Did you say
Keep
solo?
on that delusion for another 10 minutes.
Well, before we talk about that, we'll talk about Ryan and Graham's final scene. It's paralleling again the
Oh god!
Bite
On the
bit
one
from
hand, it
one
makes
another.
all the sense in the world. On the other hand, I hate this.
Yeah.
and it's kind of fucked up for reasons you mentioned earlier when you were talking about they can't do it as well as the Doctor, where they have the psychic paper and they're like, "Ooh, let's go investigate mysterious alien things and be Doctor-ish," which would be neat for other companions, but for these
So on the
companions, for
one hand,
Ryan,
like you said, the fact that Ryan chooses to leave off his own bat, that's a nice breath of fresh air. I'm fine with that.
yeah. But the
It's a bit
fact that
sudden,
like,
but okay. Toast and Cole was leaving the series. They had to come up with a reason, and it's not like he's stranded on an alien world to die or anything stupid like that. No. He decides that's enough for me. Thanks. I'm out of here. Graham then makes the logical decision to follow with him.
Yeah.
Their memories are not wiped. They retain their agency. They retain their memories of the good times they've had with the Doctor and the bad times. And they go off to have their own adventures.
Also, like you said, the fact that they're going off for alien adventures instead of, hey, let's use this to investigate corruption and fight pollution and shit and stop climate change, be real activist types making a better world. Instead, it's just, let's go find made-up alien bullshit.
So in 6 years' time, Big Finish presents Ryan and Graham, Earth Defense Force.
And that's how we end. There's a weird Force ghost of Grace.
Oh god, this was so
Oh,
forced.
I hated that.
They have a collective vision of Grace smiling at them. Ryan is like, I do like that they've put their story full circle. It starts with Ryan trying to learn to ride the bike and failing. It ends with Ryan trying to ride the bike and failing.
Whoop-de-doo.
They've come full circle, but they have changed so much in between. The reason why this ending sucks, however, I felt no emotional connection to it whatsoever.
Same.
I didn't feel any sadness. I didn't feel any bittersweet.
I wasn't really grieving either.
It's a good ending for their characters. It makes sense for both of them. But because they've not been built up as emotional characters for the audience, for me at least, I just didn't feel anything.
That's the mood.
Yeah.
That's a mood.
Oh, they've left. Moving on.
Well, Doctor and Yaz, solo team, right?
Yeah, because after the episode ended, there was a continuity announcement coming on saying, stay tuned because we have a big announcement following the credits. So you watch, and you think, okay, well maybe there's a mistake here because it's just showing us some random dockyard. What's this all about? And then there's a guy on the dockyard and he's talking to a man. And wait a minute, is that famous Scouse comedian John Bishop? I believe it is. Oh no, you don't think? Yep. Introducing John Bishop.
Oh, see, you're lucky then, because I got something a little different where it finished the episode and it cut to a big card that said, stay tuned for the Doctor's next companion. And then it showed a little clip of their new show, The Watch, which actually looks interesting. But they showed so many commercials of it that I'm so tired of it right now. And then they showed the John Bishop scene. However, I think someone in this trio got a very different experience for this.
Yeah.
I got to find out John Bishop an hour before the episode aired, thanks to the official Twitter account.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And that was really good for the second year in a row. I did not tweet about the episode directly at all. I just said, well, credit to them for keeping the secret from leaking out.
I could say things about, the fact that they're giving out continuity announcements for people across the pond before we have a chance to legally watch it, but I'll leave that aside and instead get kind of frustrated because fucking really. You give Yaz character in this episode. You build up my hopes, Chibnall. Oh, great. Doctor and Yaz. Maybe we'll give Yaz some character. No. Oh, shit. I have to write a character for Yaz now in Series 13. Unless I introduce another old white guy companion.
Well, he's not as old as Bradley Walsh.
He's not, but you know what I mean.
Still.
Demographic-wise.
Now, this character is named as Dan, but he wasn't named as Dan in the actual clip. He was named on Twitter as Dan.
Yeah.
And we know nothing about him.
We know a little bit about him. We know a little bit about him.
I don't think...
What was hidden in the clip, however, is the fact that the show's coming back this year.
That which feels very unsafe to me.
How is that possible?
Please don't give the electrician COVID because you couldn't wait half a year.
I know that they were filming before Christmas. Of course, that's going to end now because we've just gone into another national lockdown. But
Jesus.
Yeah, how is this remotely possible that we're going to get episodes unless they stagger the episodes so it's not one every week?
Who knows? But either way, I just immediately shotgunning another old white guy onto the crew.
This is
John Bishop might be very good.
It's not John
It's
John
not.
Bishop. I don't know what he's going to be like.
Bradley Walsh, old white guy, very good companion. Like we didn't really have much to say about him in this episode, but he's good. He was good. Graham was good. John Bishop, Dan could be a good companion, but I'm lamenting the what we could have had because I just have the goddamn. I'm far too cynical and untrustworthy of the Chibnall era to think that it's going to be anything but Yaz getting the sideline again.
Yeah. There is one thing I'm excited about with John Bishop joining the cast, and that's that Americans had a hard enough time understanding Cheryl Cole's Newcastle Geordie accent. They're going to have no chance with the Scouse accent of John Bishop.
Right.
Because he has a thick Liverpool accent.
Should we wrap this up? Final.
We'll wrap it up and then get to the other news. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'll be brief.
I'll give my thoughts quickly on Revolution of the Daleks. So I enjoyed it more on second viewing.
Okay.
It's not the worst story that has been done in this era. It's not the worst story Chibnall's ever written. It does have one or two really big glaring problems. Pacing is one thing, as Kat's already mentioned, but also the fact that we had these really interesting ideas, the Daleks, the security drones, the Doctor in the prison, and then we just threw that away.
Yep.
And what we replaced it with was not particularly original and not particularly any better than what we threw away. The acting is good throughout, I was saying. The dramatic deaths of the extras is hilarious, unintentionally, but it's hilarious. And we've lost two members of the TARDIS team, and I won't comment on John Bishop because he wasn't in the actual episode. But yeah, it was perfectly all right, and it certainly wasn't Chibnall's worst, but it could have been better. Some people really like this. Some people say, "Oh, this is a return to form," and if you feel like that, then more power to you, because you're not wrong. We're not wrong either. But yeah, it was good to have the show back, and I didn't hate it, but it wasn't an all-time classic either.
Mm.
And now Kat's going to completely tell us the opposite of that when she gives us her thoughts.
Yeah, pretty much. But do you want to go first, Frez? Or shall I?
Yes, I would like to go first.
Okay, go ahead.
I liked this on first viewing, except for the parts I didn't like. And then in reflection and reading other reviews and talking to people about it, there's more to dislike about it. But it was fun for a bit. But the parts that pissed me off really pissed me off. You know, you've got the Harry Potter quoting thing, deeply unfortunate. Dalek cops, deeply unfortunate. Just a series of deeply unfortunate things. The whole plan with the Daleks and Robertson getting away, sentient TARDIS being murdered, and this isn't really a fault of the episode, but in general, you know, immediately undercutting Yaz with John Bishop. It was fun, and I did enjoy it, honestly, watching first time, but like I said, the parts I don't like, I really don't like. And I don't begrudge anyone who hated it on those grounds and more, because I have to concede they're right. So it's not the greatest Chibnall episode. Could have been, but it's not. But it was fun to be back with Doctor Who for a bit. Okay, Kat, go wild.
Alright, it's my turn now. Well, there's only really one thing that could say exactly what I mean. So, Rainiac, I'm going to go ahead and link this. If you could put it in the episode, then that's fantastic. If you can't, just go ahead and link it in the description and people can find it for themselves. To put it shortly, for people who either can't watch the video or if Rainiac was not able to put it in, I hate this episode. I wish it never existed. It is a blight upon everything that is Doctor Who, and I am seriously considering watching the rest of the series from now on.
Wow.
Damn.
Because so far, Chibnall has not gotten better. He's gotten worse for me. And I am starting to get to that point where I kind of want to give up on New Who and just continue with the classic series stuff. I am going to give John Bishop, his rightful first try. See if he manages to pick it up for me, or if, just having Yaz as well as a companion is going to do it for me. I honestly don't know. I'm going to give it a chance. However, it's starting to get on a very, very thin line.
Valid.
Yeah. So what
I
you're
know a
saying
lot of
is
people
that
feel that way
halfway
too.
through Series 13, Jerry and I might be looking for a new podcast co-host.
Possibly.
So that's what we all thought of Revolution of the Daleks, but we would be remiss to leave you here without addressing the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Oh shit, there's
And
an elephant
this
here.
is your fault because this was reported by the Mirror.
Hey, don't blame me for that paper. That mirror is dead to me.
Yes, it's been dead to me for many years. But so a journalist, and I can't remember her name. I'm not saying that to belittle her. I just can't remember her name. A journalist for the Mirror newspaper, who has a pretty good track record actually on breaking stories about Doctor Who, and then turning out to be accurate, which is what makes me worried about this one, is reporting that Jodie Whittaker is leaving the show.
Oh no. I don't like this.
Wrong person to need to leave the show.
What Cat said.
God, this isn't true. Because
Same.
while this era is not the best by far, this is not Jodie's fault.
No.
No, not
by
at
and
all.
large. She is a terrific actress. It's what she's been given to work with. I argued this point on Twitter, and there was a tremendous outpouring of support for Jodie Whittaker when this quote-unquote news came out, which is lovely to see over on social media.
I helped.
Yeah. There were also people going like Philip Morris, who was like, well, I told you so.
That fuck.
Yeah, I should probably explain that everything that I'm saying about the series and how I kind of want to stop watching it, it's not Jodie's fault. It's not the actor's fault. It is purely the scripts that have been given. And even then, it's all Chibnall specifically, because the ones that are written by guest writers tend to be pretty dang good. But the ones that have Chibnall attached to it are very rarely good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem I have, the worry I have is if this is proven to be true, because this is not confirmed, the BBC have not issued a statement, and that in itself is quite worrying that they didn't confirm or deny it.
Yeah. As of recording now. By the time this goes up.
They may well have released a statement by the time this goes up, and I hope that they do. But the problem with this is that this is going to provide fuel to all the people that said, oh, well, the reason the show sucks is now is because the Doctor is a female.
Yeah.
If they regenerate her into anything, into like another straight white guy, like that does add more fuel to that fire.
I hate to say this, but I would rather, if Ivan had to leave, I would rather Chibnall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let Jodie have a new writer and see how she goes with it. And if it's still bad, then you can think about her moving on.
Exactly.
Let's prove that she's the problem before we get rid of her, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we all hope it's not true, but it could be true, which is why we felt we had to address it.
I think that'll do it for the show then.
If something is officially confirmed, maybe not straight away because it will interfere with our episode order, but we will do a special on her leaving and maybe who her replacement is. And for that reason, I'm not going to say who I would hope to be her potential replacement. I'll get into that even when the time comes. So that was all a bit of a depressing end to the show, wasn't it? So let's potentially bring the tone back up, because Freezing Inferno has the board for this next week.
Hey, Rainiac, what episode was this podcast?
This was 98. Yours is 99.
Say that again?
Yours is Wayne Gretzky, 99.
Say that number, but slower.
99.
9!
Okay, Mr. Game & Watch.
Oh, are we doing an episode on the Ninth Doctor?
Yeah, and what better one to pick than the one that Chibnall wanted to remind us of all this time? Next time on Doctor Who, Christopher Eccleston in The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances.
Yes! 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 Finally,
Wait,
something good!
When you said the one that he wanted to remind us of, I thought, oh, okay, so we're doing Dalek and the Empty Child.
Captain Jack.
Oh, right, yeah.
I am all for this. I love these episodes.
Bring back, we get to see the origin of Captain Jack, and we get to talk
to do
about
Eccleston, which we haven't
and we
done
get to do
yet.
Eccleston, which we haven't done before.
Yeah.
This is the one remaining Doctor we haven't touched.
Right before the 100th. I love it.
Well, to be fair, he
Okay.
does have a lot of history with him. So
So,
There you go.
in that case, next time then is a double header.
And it's number 99, so perfect.
Yeah, I can see the thematic resonance there, and I approve of it. So join us next time then, as we tackle Christopher Eccleston in The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances in a double header. Oh, and we forgot to plug stuff. Hang on a second. So, nothing has changed on the plugging front on my part. So if you want to reach the show, it's still Twitter @reviewsdoctor. It's still email goexterminateyourself@gmail.com. Sorry, goexterminateyourself@gmail.com. I promise you I can talk English. If you want to reach us on Twitter, I'm Rainiac at Rainiac Demaniac, Jerry at Freezing Inferno, and Cat at Concave Usurper. Cat sometimes streams video games at twitch.tv/Concave Usurper.
that may also be
You've
where
now
we're
finished
doing
your
the
12 days
100th
of Frezno
episode.
long ago, so you won't be streaming for any time soon.
Probably not, but if it ever comes up again, I'll have you play the show. So
Because that was enough. Yeah, of course.
yes,
And,
thank you for
we were
Helltaker.
We were going to record this yesterday. I apologise for that again. But we were going to record this on Sunday. And Sunday was also the 50th anniversary of the first appearance of the Master.
Sunday was also the 40th anniversary of Warrior's Gate, my favorite Tom Baker story, of which
but
we did a
more importantly
podcast.
To the history of the show, it was the 50th birthday of the Master. And I just wanted to note that because he/she is my favourite Doctor Who villain. You know this.
Okay.
You know this. I go gaga for anything Master.
Fair.
/
Good
Missy.
to know. Good
And
to
Missy
know.
was terrific.
Mhm.
All right, so
But
cameo.
apart from the depressing news, there isn't really anything
Missy.
else to talk about. We don't know when we're going to get a new episode.
Sometime in 2021, according to that thing.
Well, possibly not now we had a lockdown.
Yeah, who knows?
Who the hell knows? We'll see.
But let's not talk of lockdowns. Let's instead talk about what we're going to be viewing next week, because next week, courtesy of Freezing Inferno himself, we look at The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances. And until then, bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.